This has got to be one of the most scintillating chess endgames of 2023, and it starts with a Sicilian defense from Hikaru Nakamura. Playing with black, Nodirbek Abdusattorov with white. It's the Champions Chess Tour finals. They won one game each in the rapid section, so they go to this Armageddon. And look at the clock times. Hikaru already down 6 minutes because he only has to draw to win the match. So here Nodirbek develops his knight. Can he win this must-win game? We get d4 taking the centre, knight recaptures, and Hikaru repeats the variation that he played in the rapid play. Taking space but weakening this square. You often see knight b5 because of that, but knight e2 played. Completely different variation. Where's that knight headed? Well, after the centre is defended, we see bishop c5, very natural deployment of that sniper, and now knight g3, revealing the point. White looking at these light squares that have been weakened by the pawn move e5 here. Now we get castles. Bishop d3, bishop c4 looks more natural, but here's the point. After d5, which Hikaru plays, often a desirable break in the Sicilian, you capture that pawn and liberate this piece. Now don't take straight away, not so hot. You know, you've got discovered tactics and things if you do that. So the knight hops to b4, and this is how you recoup the pawn. We get castles. The f knight captures the pawn. Now knight recaptures. There was never time to take this bishop, or queen takes and you defend the pawn. So Hikaru playing the best moves. Now there is pressure on that d3 bishop, so it jumps into e4. The queens come off the board. Good luck winning this one. Bishop e6, what's Nodirbek got planned? Well, after c3, he drives back the knight and he says, look, I'm going to go Magnus mode here. I'm going to try and grind. So we get b4, drives back that bishop, and now an unusual looking move, but a good move. You have to develop this, connect your rooks, and where does it go? It's not got a future that way. Here you block the file, here no good a pawn, here you get driven back with f6, so bishop e3. It does ruin the pawn structure, but it completes some harmonious development, and now rook ac8 from Hikaru played, so he covers the knight, pressured by the bishop, also looks at this backwards pawn. We get knight f5, that one re-enters the game, some nasty hops in the air, so the bishop recaptures, bishop takes back, now it threatens that rook, and the most natural looking move in the world is this one. But white just gets this small amount of pressure with bishop e4. Nothing significant, but okay, that pawn's hit. No knight a5, it's covered by a pawn. So Hikaru doesn't challenge the file. He plays rook c7, top engine move, the position's level here, and now rook d7 trades a pair of rooks. But if you try and keep things on the board, like say bishop e4, was I analysing this line? No, I wasn't, sorry, what was I thinking? Rook d6, sorry, this is the line I was looking at. If you try and double on the file, well, the knight can hop. You hit the bishop, you open here, white's got problems of their own. So, rook d7 played. Now we see an exchange. Bishop recaptures. This rook hits the file. Defended. Now king f8. Hang on, isn't there a problem here? A pin. Well, after this king f2 move, king e7, bishop g4's the point. You cover the rook, you're not losing a piece. We get b6, natural move to put these pawns on dark squares, not on light where they can be attacked. Now e4, you generally don't want to put your own pawns on the same colour as your bishop, but this one makes sense to inhibit the advance of Hikaru's pawns. And now the rooks come off, bishop recaptures, king d6, the game is completely level, and yet we get one of the most scintillating finishes here that we've seen the entire year in the endgame. And just before I carry on, if you're not yet subscribed, do consider. You're more likely to never miss a future video, and statistically shown less likely to blunder your queen. Now on with the game here. Bishop b3 played, hits that pawn. f6 defense, we get a3, very natural move. Knight e7, e7, Hikaru rotating. That one had no future there, dominated by a pawn. We get h4, g6, g3, very nice pawn structure for white. Pawn f5 from Hikaru, and instructive stuff from Nodirbek. He just goes king f3, covers the center, but doesn't capture and connect these ones. So pawn takes with check. King recaptures, the knight hops into that vacated f5 square, the pawn's defended on g3, king e7, bishop d5, there's a wooden shield, and the way the arrows are, you know, it kind of looks like a dagger, right? This is the handle here. Lovely positioning of that one. What a beast a bishop is when you've got pawns on both sides of the board. And now h6 played, getting more pawns off light squares, and this is awesome from Nodirbek. You know, you can go a4 or c4 or bishop e4, but he plays g4 here, just giving Hikaru something to think about. Can you take this pawn? Well, the computer says yes, you technically can, but very difficult to see that, because after king g3, the knight's trapped, g5 forced, but then bishop e4 boxes the knight in. So king f6 forced to extricate the knight. You can't play a piece down, but here's the thing, c4, and it looks like you must surely be losing this, because c5 comes, there's a passed pawn running, but then the white king comes over here. What have we got? King e4. Now the computer shows you can walk this tightrope, technically just save the game. This is a sample line, both sides make quick queens. Long line, but it looks very risky to allow that. So the pawn not touched, knight d6 played, c4 now on the board, g5 from Hikaru, an exchange of pawns, a4 pushing forward, king d7, king e3. No doubt Nodirbek has got the better of it here. We get a5 now from Hikaru. Small reaction in the evaluation bar. You know, the computer was happy to sit and wait, but this one not such a bad move. These pawns recapture. We get king d3, king c7, and now c5, and this is dangerous for Hikaru. You know, these pieces really taking up more space than the black ones. The knight's backpedaling here. The king's advancing. But there's a lot of tricks. You know, what if king e4 looks so natural? Well, then there's check, and you're liquidating. Sorry, not pieces, but you're winning this pawn. Hikaru's got one running, then the king marches in due to the distraction. Okay, so no king e4, king c4 selected. Now knight f6, the bishop covers the pawn, e4 trying to distract that bishop from the defense, so it drops back to e2 here. Pawn e3 from Hikaru, again flinging it as a distraction to then march in his king, but king d4 played, knight d7, great move, sure take here, but then I take here. So Nodirbek goes bishop f3, forming this awesome barrier with the pawn. Sorry, just whacked the mic if that came through on the headphones or anything. And now what should Hikaru do? Well, he should hold the status quo, technically best, you know, king c8, so that after captures here, you've got captures here, and you kind of have to take that pawn, or how are you making progress? And okay, bishop d1, cover a4, king d7, this was the best way to go defensively. But the knight hops here to f8, heading for e6, and now it allows this pawn to drop. Knight e6 covers the pawn's, king's retreat to defend the pawn. Can't get my words out. But now there's c6, defending it like that. King d6 played. Now we get this bishop dropping to d1. You know, you have to be mindful of here and then winning the pawn. If you put the king on e4, there's a check, a4 drops. So that one covers it. Hikaru goes knight c5 anyway, but it's a horrible move, as you can see. You know, coming back here, the computer wants to take straight away. But then there is king e4 and it's marching here. All of it looks very dangerous. So this one played, but now king d4, the one square available. King takes here, best move, but now king e5. Masterful infiltration here from Nodirbek. We get king d7, king f5, knight e6, holding the g-pawn. King f6 now played, king d6, bishop c2, knight d4 hits the bishop, bishop e4, knight back to e6, bishop f5, knight c5, bishop c2, knight back to e6, e6? Are we not just seeing repetition here? Well, no. This is where we pick up with the live finish to the game. I had to do it justice by showing you this clip. This is so exciting.
Oh, wow, and Nodirbek, the pressure's on him to make progress. The position is almost repeating itself right now. He's struggling. He's got around 11 seconds. And, okay.
He made the correct move. Yeah, he almost stopped on the wrong square. He goes bishop e8, and now the bishop protects that a4 pawn. If the knight moves, g5 drops. Hikaru, he has no time left. He's got to move.
Make a move. 4 seconds, Hikaru. He panics and puts the knight and loses a pawn.
But now it should be a relatively straightforward win. That being said, the evaluation bar moves another check. Wow, this is crazy. They've only got 1 second increment each move. He needs to move. He needs to speed up.
And both players are so nervous. They're living on that increment right now. The pawn a4 is defended. The white king is going towards the queen side. a5 is going to drop.
Now, white is winning. White will win that a-pawn. It's a pawn that promotes on a light square as well. White's bishop holding everything. This is simple.
Oh, and Hikaru Nakamura, he gets up. He resigns. Nodirbek Abdusattorov. He reacts. He knows he's done it. He takes down the world number 3 in the Armageddon. He was playing comeback in this match. He lost the first game, wins the second one, wins the Armageddon.
He's the...
Hikaru not happy. What a classy finish from Nodirbek Abdusattorov, taking down one of the top 2 blitz players in the world. Just incredible. I hope you enjoyed this one. To see another epic game of chess, check out the video on screen, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.